Yo, so the opinions and views expressed in this podcast are that of our own and the future Bachelor podcast only, and not affiliated with any outside party or entity or anything like that. This fun podcast, though, may include some adult language.
Future Bachelor podcast.
But, enough of all that. Why don't we get into, what we like to do around here? You know what I'm saying? Man. It's that time to talk about Bachelor stuff on our show and more. But before we get talking about all that, this is the show that provides all the Bachelor and reality TV drama you've been missing in the off season. But I'm going to need you to go ahead, YouTube, and subscribe. Smash that thumbs up button and hit that notification bell so you can get notified every time we drop new Bachelor content just like this. And if you just did, oh man, huge shout out to you. Ooh-wee, air horns for ya. Oh man, we got to shout out the comment crew, and those are the people that leave comments on our YouTube videos. And we're back after the bye week we had a couple weeks back. So we got the OGs, the Nancy Drew crew in the building, Catherine Ann, Kathleen Kent, Marion SP. Used to saying Chelsea Allen in the middle of there, but she's been kind of missing in with summer vacation.
We need her to come back.
I mean, I hope she does, and I think she will. But we're gonna hold off until Bachelorette to kind of retire, the Chelsea Allen. She's around. It's just summertime.
She's there.
I get it. But shout out to everybody leaving comments. You can get a shout out too on the show. Just, subscribe to our YouTube and leave a comment on our videos. It's just that simple. We're going to do a comment of the week actually this week. I thought it was a pretty interesting, topic for us to talk about. And it comes to us from the homie, Kathleen Kent. And she says, I have to comment about how much more captivating other shows are. Vanderpump Rules, Scanderville, Love is Blind, more modern music. These other shows show more character than the Bachelor franchise.
Called out.
She's taking shots, and I can't blame her actually.
I can't blame her either.
We were saying the most interesting television pop culture stuff going on right now is coming from Vanderpump Rules, and we'll get into that a little bit here. But why do you think? I know why, but what do you think reasons are that the Bachelor franchise is kind of fallen behind these other new shows that seem to be popping up? I mean, Vanderpump Rules has been around, but
yeah, it's been around. I think what especially, we'll get more into Vanderpump, but I think what especially is intriguing about Vanderpump is that even though the folks on Vanderpump have gotten big now, and they've grown up over this, they've gone from living in shitty little apartments to nice ass houses in LA. But that's the thing, is that it's very real. They've been doing this since they were scrappy folks trying to make a living, trying to become actors, actresses on and working for Sir. To building up their own brands and stuff like that. And I think that's the thing, is that they were all actually friends to begin with. I think what makes Bachelor start to fall behind, even the Love is Blinds, or they have the Ultimatum, the Queer Edition's out right now, and Love Islands and stuff like that. It's just that I think Bachelor feels way more produced than a lot of these. Sure, there's a lot of production value that goes into some of these other love-based shows, but I feel with the Love is Blinds, you're not seeing as much of that inherent producer interference, because it's very much so about you those are kind of you're getting into your own way, because you can't see them.
Well, they're different types of shows too.
Right.
I would say Vanderpump Rules. I mean, there's dating shows and you can tell when it comes to dating shows, they have their formulas. What's exciting about the newer shows is that you don't really know the formulas that well, especially the contestants, and they evolve as seasons go on. I mean, you can see from something like Love is Blind how after a couple seasons it starts kind of becoming a little stale, because you know what's going to happen, or they
Same
know
with
what's
Too
going
Hot
to
to
happen.
Handle. I don't know how Too Hot to Handle is still even doing well, because I feel once after the original season, you can kind of
see. I think I can get why something like Too Hot to Handle kind of keeps going, because it, like, one of the shows that I really did like, which I don't know why they don't do it as much anymore, but it's Are You the One? And Are You the One, I feel like, is like one of those formula shows where it's, you know, you have to find your perfect match, and you get like 10 weeks to kind of figure it out. 10 couples have to figure it out. But the reason why like that formula doesn't, to me, feel like it gets old is because of when you start like getting into the house and you're like meeting other people that are like going to be like the cast members, you very easily fall in love with people when you have to still like, you're recognized as not the perfect match, and you have to move on to other, like, you know, possibilities. But people just get so caught up on like, this is my person, I don't care what the game. I've seen it happen over and over again. So you know, The Bachelor doesn't really allow that type of thing to happen, and
except for like in Bachelor in Paradise. I feel like Bachelor in Paradise is the only one that I feel like people still get excited about in that same way, because there's more, like, it's more organic in the sense that like people are interacting and mixing and mingling, and it's not just like competing for like one singular person.
Yeah. So, yeah, I definitely understand. And then when we start talking about shows like Vanderpump Rules, like, I mean, producers are still involved.
Oh, for sure.
But they have to kind of like always like, you know, the cast constantly changes. People leave or, you know, get canceled and can't be on the show, or, you know, just storylines end up not being as exciting. You know, being a person that's seen it from the first season to like where it is now, it's very interesting to see, you know, the evolution of the OG cast members, and then just how it's filled in with, you know, people that have come along the way. You know, so it's like The Hills or like Laguna Beach type things, but even less, because it's not as scripted as like those shows were. So I can't help it though. Like, I think it's something about Vanderpump Rules and how it's just like these people really are what they are on the show. And, you know, even if it's like a facade or like, you know, what they're trying to be, they're still like doing it outside, like when TMZ catches them, or like on the reunion shows and stuff. Like they're pretty much the same people on the show that they are outside of the show. So that's also very cool to see. And but yeah, so thanks for the comment of the week, Kathleen. You guys just leave us some thought-provoking comments on YouTube, and we'll, you know, get a little bit of a discussion around it if it's great, like this one. V, what's been going on in Bachelor Nation and just, you know, TV in general?
Yeah, Bachelor Nation. Tyler Cameron was actually here in Atlanta this past weekend.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he went to the Atlanta United game. He's around town. I guess he was in town for some opening of Wicked Wolf Atlanta, which is something in Midtown, I believe, like some sort of like nightlife destination.
There's so many things popping up in Atlanta that like, it's just like, wait, that's here? Like, you, I remember a time when I feel like we used to know everything. You know?
I know. I like didn't even know that this was the reason. I was like, why was he in town? Because like I saw all the stuff being posted to the Atlanta United accounts being like, great to see you, like Tyler Cameron, blah, blah, blah. Like, we'll give you a rose, whatever. And I guess he was here to help host that opening preview weekend or whatever with also Tom Schwartz, funny enough.
Oh, yeah. He was in town
and Jonathan
too?
Cheban, a.k.a. Food God.
Nice.
And so, you know, meeting of the minds of reality TV.
Worlds colliding, you know, more than in here in Future Bachelor, like in the actual world.
I know.
Love to see it.
Kind of crazy. But yeah, and so it's been a pretty, as we were saying, it's been a pretty slow week when it comes to other things happening in Bachelor Nation. Grocery Store Joe and Serena had their bridal shower in Chicago. They're getting closer and closer to their wedding. Many of the Bachelor Nation folks went to CMA Fest in Texas this past weekend, and then, you know, it's the beginning of filming of Bachelor in Paradise, and Wells was reporting back from, you know, first night. He's being obviously he has to be pretty coy, but he was talking about how there's a lot of Gen Zers on the beach and how they're using, like, all these different, like, new lingo that, you know, he's unfamiliar with.
Oh, let me already predict it. These guys are going to be overusing the word Riz.
Oh my God, ew.
Yo, what is...
That's going to be like at least one after credit scene. is talking about Riz.
Yeah, future Bachelor prediction. This word Riz is so viral right now that like it's got like older people, your 40-year-olds or whatever that generation is, saying it like ironically, but like now using it. Like, you know what I'm saying? At first they're like, oh wow, you got the Riz. Like they're trying to be like funny and cool. Yeah, but they're actually using it, and it's like, oh my God, we found a word, to use that the young kids understand. It's just kind of like it's kind of crazy out there right now, so I could definitely understand it. I mean, the contestants are getting younger, or I guess we're the ones that are getting older, and the contestants stay the same age.
And they stay the same age.
That old Matthew McConaughey line. Yikes. So quiet week in Bachelor Nation, so we might as well talk about like the big TV thing going on, which is definitely Vanderpump Rules with their finale of their three-part season finale reunion came to an end, and it was pretty interesting to watch this show.
It was crazy.
Yeah. I watched all three of them, and
Me too.
It's riveting. I don't know what it is about this stuff that like makes it so interesting, but like I said at the top of the segment, like, I think it's just because these people are so in their bubble, and it's like their bubble is like their life,
Right.
One thing I did notice is that like it's just, and I was brought up at some point, maybe not in this third part, but like I think Andy was the host, Andy Cohen. He like said at one point, he's like, no one here has clean hands, like everyone
except for Katie. I guess Katie's the only one that hasn't cheated.
Yeah, I mean, but even
or
then,
been part of a cheating situation.
Yeah, Katie might be the only one that didn't cheat, but like if I think back on like the history of Katie, like she's definitely been, one of the people that have been super vocal and like kind of bully. Everyone's a bully on that show to each other, so you see people like Lala, who is just like, why do you have so much to say when so much is going on with your own personal life? Which
I almost think is what fueled her to say more, because I think it was even like it was making her think like on her own shit a lot, and it was like making her be all like, how dare you do the same shit that happened to me. I think she was like overly triggered by it, TBH, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it was kind of like sending Raquel to the wolves. And I kind of felt bad for her. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, people mess up. Like, it's a horrible thing to do, but like everyone there has done it before. Lala straight up like told her that she cheated, like she hooked up with her boyfriend, Raquel's boyfriend, James Kennedy, while she was dating her. Like, so
yeah.
And she's just like acting like that's not a big deal,
Yeah, I mean,
hypocritical.
I think when it comes down to this whole thing for me, I think the biggest difference is that Raquel was Ariana's best friend, and the thing is that also it comes down to like, I feel bad for Raquel in the sense that homegirl is obviously searching for something, validation, whatever, in the form of men and that situation.
Or this cast, just like the show in general. Like she's finally gotten into the circle. She's just gotten so caught up in it all that like, she's in between both leading men on the show. It's like she's and she's already dated another leading man on the show.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, she got a taste of like being a principal character, and I think, it went too far. I feel bad for her in the sense that she definitely was influenced, and like the big shocker really of the final part, because like they're really hyping up the final part, was that in her, like in the last 5 minutes, she pretty much like confesses to the timeline starting earlier than had been promoted by everybody involved, and that pretty much talking about how Tom didn't want her to say certain things because it was a bad look, especially because they hooked up when Raquel and Tom hooked up in Tom and Ariana's house when Ariana was at her grandma's funeral.
Was it the grandma, or it was like...
It was the grandma's funeral.
I thought it was like something about her dog dying.
Well, so they started, like, they thought they started hooking up around the time that her dog died, but then the egregious act, because then they acted like it was only one time, and then they hooked up like sometimes later, but then it was like, no, they started hooking up then, and then they consistently were hooking up, and then when Ariana was out of town for the funeral, she stayed over and hooked up in their house, and then like they kept doing, and they did it when they were at the wedding, Sheena's wedding, etc. So it's like,
yeah, I mean, even like stuff like, I mean, when it comes to cheating, the best thing you can do is just be honest right away. Like if you like start lying about the cheating, it just prolongs it and it just makes you look so much worse. And that's definitely what was going on here. You know, it's outside, and that's just like in like a regular friend group, like in real life. Now, when you have like the scope of like the nation on you, as being a TV show and stuff, it just makes it even that much worse when you're just like continuing to lie. Other people have to lie for you, so they're complicit, like Tom Schwartz or whatever.
Oh yeah, I mean, like you could tell Sandoval was getting pissed at Schwartz during parts of the reunion because, like, you know, he wasn't remembering his lines.
Yeah. So there's that. Even Lisa Vanderpump was like coming out being like, Raquel, that's like the most craziest footage I've ever seen, is like, you know, you knowing what you're doing and you're like asking these questions to Ariana, like about her relationship.
About like her relationship and trying to give her advice and whatever on her relationship while Raquel's actively having an affair with Ariana's boyfriend.
Yeah. So,
and that the fact that Tom Sandoval dressed up as Raquel amidst this whole thing.
And having matching necklaces.
Oh my God. Like, this was all on film. Like, she bought her necklace on film. He, like, you know, he did the costume. It's just like, and, you know, they just felt so good because they're like, we're getting away with it. And then, like, how their whole excuse was like, we were going to tell her. And you could tell, like, poor Raquel was, like, brainwashed by Tom into thinking that, like, he actually gave a shit about her because, like, she's like, I'm in love with him. And he, like, his response being like, yeah. Well, you could tell that's a no. He was not in love with her. Like, there's just no way.
No, I don't know if that necessarily was it. I think maybe he's just like doesn't know what the right thing to say is. I mean, I don't think there is a right thing to say. Like, you're going to get it from both sides no matter what you say. No, yes. Like, you know, people are going to be like, so the only thing that I wish like went a little different, there's a lot of things I wish went a little different, but the most thing would probably be Ariana if she just took the higher road. I feel like
all day long.
Yeah, like, you know, there was just so many things she was saying that were so ugly to say to another person. Like, you're more than justified to feel like that. But
I'm okay with her raging, honestly. I mean, I think it's fine for her to rage, especially while he's like in front of her. Like, I think that's part of grieving. I think that's kind of normal. Like, I think Lala even has said after the fact that she felt dirty for how she acted because, like, she didn't need to go as hard because it's not her situation, especially after seeing how Raquel was. But, like, I think for Ariana, I think she took as high of a road as she could in the sense that, like, she was completely betrayed by people who were, like, you know, saying that they were there for her for years, and she like defended both of their asses for years, and then for them to like sit in her face and like for, you know, Raquel to like not even like show any sort of emotion towards Ariana and to like just do like a shitty like sorry text. No, I think she's got every like thing to rage. I think she maybe could have toned it down a bit, but I don't know if that's like even really fair to ask.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that might have been the first time she's seen her since like it all went down.
It was.
But I don't know. There were just points where I was just like, I mean, even as being on her side, it's like, oh man, like it's just kind of going a little too far. I felt like.
I mean, but then
there's
Tom's
a rage.
Comment
there's
about
a rage,
the
and then there's like you're just like, you're like, we get the point. Like, you know what I'm saying? She was just like going too far.
I guess not really.
You know,
but,
I mean, I'm just saying, like it's like she's still a human being.
Yeah, I mean, I think Tom went too far with the T-shirt comment.
Oh yeah, I mean, at that point, like he was just like his back was against the wall. He started saying anything, but I mean, it's no excuse. But that relationship was like totally screwed up. Like, you know, it's like whether or not they were together, like, or not, like, yes, you're in a relationship, you shouldn't do that, but like their relationship was not good, so he should have gotten out of it. Like,
or you should have, but he didn't,
or she should have too. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I think she wanted to fight for it and he didn't. That's like what she said multiple times, is that she wanted to fight for it and that she was fighting for it, and she was asking him like X, Y, and Z, and they were working on things, and then he just, you know.
I don't know. I don't know. Like, I mean, personally, from my perspective of it, it seemed like she just made the relationship really hard. Like, you know, like she did. Whether it was just like not.
How did she make the relationship hard?
I mean, the things that he would say about like her and their relationship, like they were just together. They were like glorified roommates.
Yeah, but I
think
she expressed to him her different trauma, her different things, what she needed from him, and he was like actively not doing it. He would go out and do whatever he would do. Like, he wasn't supporting her in the relationship at all. He made the relationship hard for her.
I don't know. It's not just this season. I've seen multiple seasons.
That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about old shit too. Like, he definitely was trying to take credit for her shit. He was always trying to make shit about him. He's a narcissist.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, there was multiple, like, I can probably more than a handful of times when he's trying to have a conversation with her and she just like totally standoffish about it. And, you know, that's just my perspective of it. Like, she wasn't probably a dream to be with. And also, if she...
I can only say, from being someone in similar situations, you only start acting like that if you're getting shit behind the scenes that is not good.
Well, I mean, let's just go back to the beginning of their relationship then. It started the same way it ended. She was Raquel originally, so let's not forget that. Yeah. So it's called karma. The same thing she's saying that, like,
I think Tom Sandoval finally gets caught. It's Tom Sandoval's pattern. He is going to pick up whatever he wants until he gets bored of it.
Sure. But it's kind of like, I don't know. It's just like, it's one of those things is if you are going to like enter a relationship with someone that's already in a relationship, for you to think that this person's going to change for you is, you know, kind of setting yourself up for a scenario like this, I would just think.
I mean, but her and Kristen Doty were able to like get past it together. They obviously...
Yeah, and I'm sure her and Raquel could eventually get past it. Like, I remember the Doty days, like, you know, how they didn't like each other at all and everything. And, you know, then we got like, you know, James Kennedy coming in the mix that just kind of like diffused the situation a little bit. Like, there was still drama there and everything, but... You know, who knows? Like, you know, I mean, Ariana being like, I will never be friends with you. It's just like...
I don't see her being friends with her ever then.
I don't know. And probably not, but...
Why would she at this point?
Why are any of them friends? That's what I'm trying to say. Like, the whole show is like it just comes back full circle. If it goes another 10 years, like, who knows, like, who's friends with who then, you know? Probably not. You know, I can't really see Raquel... maybe doing the show again. Like, you know, I don't know.
think she should. I think she needs to take some time because Homegirl has some shit to figure out. If that was how far the pendulum swung for her to be like, you know what, I'm going to go from being like this to being like this, I think she needs to figure some stuff out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so I guess we'll just leave it there. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see like where this show goes.
Yeah, who even comes back for the next season.
Yeah, I mean, I would think Tom would come back. Like, I mean, I would think they would want him to come back. I think, you know, it's just him being on the show is great for his band and for his businesses and stuff like that. And of course they'd want him to come back, whether he like interacts with Ariana or not. Having them both in this kind of same show and still in the same circles, you're going to get them talking shit about each other. They're probably going to have to pop up at the same events if, you know, it's just interesting because it's like, you know, Ariana, I love Lisa being in the mix of all that stuff too, because it's like Ariana could all day be like, I'm not going to associate with anyone that associates with them. So like Lisa has to be like, all right, so I have a business with them. Are you not going to associate, like, you know?
Well, she did like unfollow, like there was like kind of a bit of a tiff between then Ariana and Lisa for a bit there. But yeah.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. Like, you know, Ariana wouldn't have a life without Elisa Vanderpump. You know, so it's like biting the hand that feeds you. You got to know the power dynamic here. So, but yeah, and I mean, I was just seeing that like Lisa is starting a new restaurant show or something. So it's going to be like another Vanderpump, or have you heard about that? Yeah, there's a new spin-off show that's coming about one of her new restaurants, and it's going to be essentially the same thing.
Is it going to be the new one? Yeah, where is she opening that new one? I remember seeing some stuff about that, but yeah, I mean,
yeah. So you know, I'm sure there's going to be crossover there too. So I'm excited to see where it all goes. But what do you guys think? Like, do you think like, what do you think the future of Vanderpump goes? Like, do you think Bachelor could ever get to this level of zeitgeist conversation? I mean, has it ever even gotten to this level? Like, you know, Bachelor is such a huge franchise. It's just very, like, incredible that Vanderpump Rules has been able to, like, go global in the conversation. And this is, like, weeks. This is almost, like, months now that this has been, like, the topic of conversation. You know, for it to be even the top of our conversation for this show just really goes to show you, like, how this show has really, you know, broken through the mold. You know, it's in its what, 8th or 10th season, somewhere between there.
Vanderpump?
Yeah,
this is its 10th season.
This is the 10th season. It's the biggest season ever. And we're talking about, like,
right,
you know, the original cast, like, of Stassi and Jax and stuff, like, for them not even be involved in this, like, show anymore and it be bigger than ever is kind of incredible. So what do you guys think of all this stuff? Like, let us know. You know, obviously we got like different sides and stuff to come at this, you know, topic with, but let us know in the comments, like, what you be thinking. And, also check it out, the audio version of this podcast, because we got a lot more stuff to talk about after these topics that are outside of TV world, but just in pop culture in general. So let's keep this conversation going, y'all. And we'll see you next week on YouTube.
Future Bachelor Podcast.